Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your bonus reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Taurus, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we begin with the magician. This is a wonderful way to start. It's the trickster, the juggler. This is Hermes. This is Mercury, the magician. You're somebody with a lot of, I think, technical expertise. I think you know a lot about a lot of things. I think you're very adaptable. I think that you're very eloquent. I think that you really know how to talk to people. You're someone that really can schmooze, you know. You can build rapport with people very, very easily. I think especially when there is a common purpose, a common ground, right? When you can find something personal to connect with somebody else, I think you find it very easy to build that into a friendship or a relationship of some kind, maybe professional, okay? You're somebody who's very adaptable. I think you're somebody who can make the most out of whatever you got lying around. Yeah. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. All right. Let's see where that skill is going to be most useful. We got that Hermit mode. Interesting. Okay. We got the Chariot. We've got the Lovers. We've got the holy moly. That's a lot of major arcana. High Priestess and the Eon. Oh Lord, we got to ring the bell for that. This is all major arcana. We've never had a reading that has all major arcana energies on the path of the dove like this. This is crazy. This is extraordinary. We have the wisdom, the sort of wisdom of the Hermit with the wisdom, all these cards really, the wisdom of the magician, the intuition, the devotion, the commitment, the inspiration. We have the path forward, this doorway of fire leveling up your life. We have this devotion and commitment and loyalty down here. The discipline, the self-control of the Chariot. Spirit is saying, look, you are on spiritual fire right now. That whatever you're doing, gosh, this is giving me chills. This is a lot, okay? Whatever you're involved, whatever sort of relationship you're building is going to be extraordinary. Whether it's a business relationship, a family relationship, a love relationship, whatever it is, whoever you're talking to, right? Yeah. I mean, this could be you negotiating for a raise, negotiating for a contract. This could be you applying for a job and sort of doing an interview, right? You're able to build that rapport with somebody and turn the situation into something monumental, astronomical, right? Wow. Of course, if there's anything that you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. All right. Let's do the rest of the cards. We still have the Path of the Serpent to talk about. Another major arcana, the Star. Okay, now we get some court cards. We have a Knight of Pentacles and the Hanged Man and a Five of Cups. Interesting. Interesting that we sort of get a little bit of not a block really, but we get a little bit of a whoa, slow down there, right? Because all this energy, and we're just gonna rush forward as fast as we can. But the Hanged Man is saying, look, we've got to yield a little bit. We've got to surrender a little bit to the flow of things, okay? Especially with that, with the magician energy. The magician likes to be the magician. The magician on stage is sort of the orchestra conductor. It is the ringmaster of the circus, right? Is the one, it's the director of the show. I'm calling the shots. I'm making things happen. I'm the one on stage. I don't want any sort of predictability. or I don't want any kind of, I don't want anybody else to interfere with what I'm doing. I don't want to have to yield and just succumb to whatever is going to happen around me. No, I have to be in control of everything. I'm making things happen, right? So we see a contrast between the magician and the hanged man. The magician is the one out here making things happen. The hanged man is the one that's just sort of going with the flow. So there's a difficulty there. There's a difficulty with us trying to direct everything, manage everything, sort of dictate everything, right? Orchestrate it all, versus just allowing ourselves to be part of the process and flow with however it's going to unfold. But that feels like a loss of control, right? It feels like we're voluntarily tying our hands together so that we can't wave our magic wand and make things happen, you know. It was a very interesting sort of wrestling match here, okay? And I think that it's really, I think it's Spirit's way of saying you have to surrender a little bit to the current of this energy, because the magician is not able to control everything. It's almost like it's almost micromanaging, right? It's just we're trying to be the one to decide every single little thing. We don't want to yield. We don't want to go with the flow. We don't want to surrender to the current. No, I'm steering the boat. You know, I'm fully at the helm of this ship. Well, Spirit's saying, no, you're not. Okay, there has to be, I think, a balance here between striving and yielding, between knowing that we're in control of everything, then also realizing that we got to just surrender to the flow. Yeah. And the very difficult energies, because we're the one that's orchestrating everything. I'm the one on the stage calling the shots. I don't want something to happen that I'm not making happen, because that's sort of a surprise, right? We don't like surprises, unless we're the ones that are orchestrating the surprise. Okay, so we want predictability in that sense, right? We don't want anything to happen that we don't already know about. That's not the way life works, right? And so the end being that Five of Cups is the flow of the current, and there will be more joyous, stretches of the river, and there will be some more turbulent ones, and we know that. We can't control everything. We can't make every day absolute bliss, even if we tried, you know. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. It's going to go right there with Tiny Bob Ross, Happy Little Bob. Now, we're not going to look at that card till the very end, and you'll have to excuse me today. I have a really terrible sore throat, and I know I'm sick yet again. Well, yeah. If you have a prediction for that card, please put it in the comments down below. All right. Let's take a look around the room here. A lot of major arcana, right? And of course, we have the Knight of Pentacles looking into the future. Okay. We have the Knight of Pentacles who can see the destination, but can't really see the path. And that's part of our Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is telling the Knight of Pentacles, look, just jump in the river and let the current take you. And yes, you do want your magician energy to sort of help to steer the boat. But as far as which path you're taking, you got to trust. This is a trust fall with the universe here. Diving into the current of this water, because you know it's going to take you to your sort of next stage. It's a new era for you, okay? And this is you going through this fiery doorway. This is the reading that you've been waiting for, right? And it's that difficult moment where you have to sort of yield your control and dive in and let the current take you. I think you've done a lot of preparation. I think that you have fortified yourself. You feel ready, you know. And now we're just sort of standing on this precipice of this doorway, and I'm maybe a fool for the mystery card, right? Spirit's saying just jump in, dive into the river, and let the current take you. There's a lot of major arcana energy here. I've never seen so many. But what does the Hermit mean for you? Because the Hermit, I think, is kind of telling you to pull back a little bit of your light. Yeah. Because the Magician, let's say this is very outgoing, very extroverted, loves the social scene, loves to make friends, loves to talk to people. The Hermit is kind of saying, I'm sort of withdrawing from all this. It's kind of another way of saying that we're not out here trying to shake hands and schmooze and make things happen, that we're kind of now we're withdrawing that light. We've done all that external work. Now it's time to allow the situation just to sort of grab us and take us away. Yeah. So in terms of a business deal, right, we don't want to overstay our welcome. The Magician is the one that's going to keep talking, keep trying to convince somebody, keep trying to build that rapport. But the Hermit might be saying, look, shut your mouth. You've already done it. The more you keep talking, the more chance you have to sort of blow it, you know? So we want the Magician to be out there building that relationship, whatever it is, if it's with you, a family thing, work thing, business thing, whatever it might be. We're out here communicating, talking, having that exchange, having that interface with somebody or something. The Hermit is there to say, know when to be silent, know when to be quiet, and just listen, right? Know when to stop trying to convince somebody. It's like that salesperson that just won't stop. And it's like, okay, I get it, I understand. I'm already sold. You keep talking, I'm going to get annoyed and I'm not going to buy the car, right? So the Hermit is kind of that card that's saying, shh, just listen, right? You don't have to convince anybody of anything anymore. You've already made the deal. So now just sort of, just pull back a little bit. Have a little bit of distance. Let things get a little bit quieter. Let things calm down a little bit. Okay? So the Magician needs to know when to withdraw. No one knows when to work on that, the internal. It's the difference between magic and mysticism, right? Magic is out here trying to multiply the world. I want more of something. I want to manifest something out of nothing. The Hermit is the mysticism trying to resolve all this multiplicity back into nothingness, right? So the light extends, the light withdraws. Because we have to allow the effects of our magic to work. You know, it's somebody that is in the process of doing something, and before it even finishes, before the bread's even done baking in the oven, we're getting started on the next batch of bread and thinking, well, that one, you know, I got to get another one in the oven right away. And we're not even pausing to wait and see how the first bread turned out. So do we need to change the recipe or something, right? So Spirit's kind of saying, shut your mouth a little bit. Just learn when to be quiet. Learn when to turn it off, you know, and just be in the present moment. And I think it's sometimes difficult for you to do that, especially when you feel so fired up. You feel so vibrant and so vital right now. You feel so inspired by this Lover's card. It's kind of, you know, you've asked somebody to marry you or something, and they said yes, but you keep asking, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure you want to do this? And it's just like, you know, it's like that salesman. It's just like, okay, you're going to ruin it if you keep talking. Like, just let's be quiet. Let's appreciate the moment. You know, let's see where everything takes us. Let's stop trying to manifest everything according to our will. Let's stop trying to have a say or have an influence over everything. And let's just fold our hands and enjoy the ride, you know. Because you are inspired by something. There is a union taking place. This could be a business partnership. It could be a love partnership, a romance. It could be a true love soulmate situation. It could be that business deal, though, too, you know. and it's inspiring. And just the fact that this is happening makes us want to keep talking. You know how when you get really excited about something and you just keep talking about it? Spirit's saying, let's be quiet and let's just feel. Let's just listen and feel how we feel. Let that current take us sort of into that future, right? It's like somebody who just keeps talking during the movie. You know, I'm just trying to enjoy the movie. Yeah. And I think it's really about you. I think, you know, you keep this very active, striving, very complex effort when Spirit's saying, just sit back and enjoy the movie. Things are going to be okay. Yeah. And I think the chariot underneath everything is very important too, because it shows that you're already prepared and fortified. There's nothing much more that the magician needs to do. Your will has already been set in motion. Your magic has already been extended out into the world. And now it's just a matter of, okay, let's close our jacket and just see how things are going to play out. You know? Let's just, we have to send our intention out into the world. Then we have to sit back and see what happens. Watch it go, you know. And I think that the chariot is that sort of self-control, you know, where we can pull our skill. We can get a handle on our zeal, on our zest, on our inspiration. We have self-control that says, I can put a lid on my giddiness once in a while, you know. It's a very good problem to have. Especially considering the idea that if we continue to sort of extend our will, if we continue to put this energy into something, it's going to be too much. And then that hermit mode then becomes the separation. See? Because what we have with the lovers, a union. But then the hermit is sort of dissolving the union, right? This is someone who is separating from whatever this was. Okay, it's kind of the idea you're making mayonnaise or something, right? And you whip it too much or you put too much into it, it's going to separate your sauce, right? It's going to break, right? You got to know when enough is enough. You got to know when to say when, right? Because there's a sweet spot. And I think you're in that sweet spot right now, but it's hard for you to sort of put the magic wand down because you enjoy the process so much. And so we have to use this high priestess energy, this intuition, that is going to tell us when enough is enough. And I don't know what exactly you're doing. Maybe this is something about your artistic works, you know. Maybe the magic wand is your paintbrush. Yeah? Maybe it's your typewriter or keyboard or whatever. That we have to know kind of when to say, okay, I'm done. Hands off now. Yeah. Before the thing breaks. Before we go past that point and we just sort of ruin it. Right? I used to try to write novels and short stories and things, and sometimes I would make too many changes. I would keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and making so many changes and edits that eventually it was just a monstrosity and I had to just throw the whole thing away. Because I ruined the original joy and the original union that was there, the original inspiration. I tinkered with it so much. It's like if I cut my own hair, you know? You start with a little bit and I think, okay, but it's not even. I got to take a little bit more on this side. Well, now this side's too long. I got to take a little bit more off here. Pretty soon, I've made a mess of it, and I literally have had to shave my head. Thankfully, it's been years because now, as you can tell, I don't cut my hair, right? So, you know, we have to recognize that moment where it's as perfect as it's going to be. I've said everything that I need to say. I've already sold the thing. You know, maybe it's a presentation at work. Appreciate the silences. Build suspense with a little bit of that mystery, you know. And I think the magician, a true magician on stage, you know, a performer on stage, knows that there has to be, it's very Taoist, there has to be activity and then there has to be rest. Just like in music, you know, there's notes. But what makes the music, what makes the harmony is the silence between the notes. Otherwise, it's just a continuous sound, you know, and nobody likes that. So we have to have those silences. The light has to withdraw. We think of Morse code, right? It's just a steady beam of light. It doesn't mean anything. When it cuts off and starts again and stops, start, stop, that's when we can actually convey a message. That's when we actually get something through to the other person. I've been trying to do that in my readings, trying to slow down sometimes because I get so zealous. I start talking faster and faster and faster, and I go from one thought to the next, and I sometimes don't even finish a sentence. So now I'm trying to pause more often, and I think that really is what we're talking about here. But it's intuitive. We've got to sort of feel it out. There's no recipe for this. For what you're doing, there's no Cliff's Notes. There's no cheat sheet. There's no how to be a magician for dummies, And so I think that you have had to do things the hard way. You've had to, in some ways, reinvent your own wheel. All of our wheels are different, right? I'm thinking here, Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. So the High Priestess then becomes the message from Spirit coming through to you. You can't hear it if you're always talking. So sometimes we have to just shut up and listen. Yeah. And we'll get that divine message, and we'll come to realize, okay, now's the time. This is the moment I've been waiting for. It's time to dive in and do this thing. Because what you're doing, you're diving in. The Eon card. This is the very center card today. It's at the very center of the tarot table today, is the Axis Mundi. This is what everything is revolving around. All these other cards are swirling around this galactic center. Because this is it. This is that wormhole to your future. This is going to be a new era for you. You've got to shut up and listen and know what Spirit is telling you about when it's time to jump into this. Spirit's telling you, hey, this doorway is already here. But we're so busy with, whether it's with planning or whether it's with just this uncontained expression of our joy and our inspiration. We're so busy editing, right, or writing or whatever, that we don't see that, the doorway's here already. Okay? It's kind of like, the mail carrier is there to take your letter, and you're just still writing and erasing and editing, but it's like, this is your window of opportunity. The mail carrier's going to leave. They've got other stuff to do. They can't wait around forever for you, right? So eventually we have to just back off and say, enough is enough. It's done, it's finished, it's as perfect as it will be. And then we send it. And once we send it, we have no choice but to be hanged man. Now that I've sent it, I can't get it back. Once it's in the possession of the mail service, it's their property, right? I can't go take it back. I can't change it. I can't unsend it. I can't edit it anymore. All I can do is sit and hope and pray and try to be calm, meditate on it, relax, enjoy it, maybe kick my feet up, watch some TV, watch some YouTube videos, And in some ways, cross our fingers, hope for the best. Yeah. I feel like this has something to do with finances. I feel like your finances are improving. This is some sort of a financial deal or a speculation, especially with our Knight of Pentacles looking into the future. You're looking at this jackpot, this pot of gold out there, and you're thinking, I don't know how to get there. I'm doing everything I can to manifest that, but then basically I just got to send the letter and then trust in the universe. Once it leaves your mailbox, it's not yours anymore. It's out there in the ether, and you've got to give it time to take effect. It's kind of, I don't know, I'll have a cup of coffee, right? And I'll just think, it's not doing anything. I need to have another cup of coffee. And pretty soon I've had 3 or 4 cups, and I'm just sort of bouncing off the walls. You got to give it time to work, okay? You got to give it time to work. It is possible that there is a physical component to this for you, because the magician is also the healer. It's the magician. It's the magician, the musician, the physician, and the metaphysician. Okay? So this could be all of those things. And of course, the hermit could be someone who is sort of taking their medicine and letting it take effect, just resting. You know, you take the medicine the doctor prescribes and you just kind of got to wait it out. You're not going to feel better instantly. Things are not going to materialize like this. We have to give it time to take effect. All right? Whether it's music or whether it is some sort of metaphysical thing. Maybe this is a spiritual healing practice. Maybe it is a physical healing practice for you. But I think there's also that financial component. There is a future state. There's a future state that we see with the Knight of Pentacles, because the Knights always look at the future. And the Knight of Pentacles is looking at the future, looking at the desired outcome. What is it that you're trying to manifest? Is it health, physical health, financial health, right? Spiritual, mental, emotional health, whatever it is. Wholeness. You're looking for something to be completed out in the future. And so this could be that investment. Well, it's an investment of time, of energy, maybe money too. Okay. And we can see the final destination. We know it's there. We're not so sure about the route. We're not so sure what the journey is going to be like. Well, that's where the Spirit is trying to guide you. We are fortified. We have a proper ship. You have discipline and self-control. You're capable of enduring the river, right? You've built a boat that is pretty ship-shape. Very seaworthy vessel here, okay? And now we're going to talk about the path of the serpent. And as we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It's free, and it supports the channel. I appreciate that. So, the star is your general energy. You've done the work internally, right? Phase 1 of the star card is figuring out where your obstacles inside of yourself are. Where are your buttons? Where are your blockages? Okay? And I think you've done that. And that's why we've experienced this Lover's card. And the Lover's card is your union. The Lover's card is sort of the opportunity, the inspiration now appearing, showing up for you. This is something real. It could be a relationship romantically. It could be a business partnership. It could be the chance for you to really, sell yourself, sell your product, publish your book, whatever it is. Right? You've come together with, you've been inspired, and now this is your life's work. This is your mission. It is a true love situation. It doesn't have to be romantic. Okay. And so the star is here to say, look, you've done all that internal work already. And so you've been able to see the path forward. Because the star card, once the light comes into us, illumines where our blockages are, shows us our buttons, shows us our knots of karma, right? So we can start working on those things. And as we work on those things, the light starts to shine out in the world. Suddenly, the doorway appears. Okay? And we have to choose to follow that path. We have to choose to go through that doorway. Yeah. At the same time, we're still trying to stay in touch with that internal light within. We don't want to fall back into our old habits, So it's a twofold process, and they feed off of each other. The more confirmation we get going forward, the more illumination we see inside, and we can work on our weaknesses, we can strengthen our strengths, right? And we can, work on sort of reducing or eliminating or even strengthening our weaknesses. And we can, through that process, get more confirmation out in the world around us about where we're supposed to go, what we're supposed to do. So this is that guiding light. This is that beacon of hope, right? This is your North Star. This is you knowing that you are destined to go through this doorway. And the doorway has appeared. We've got to just sort of stop trying, stop striving, and just let the boat into the river and go with that current. Okay. Now, the Hanged Man is a card sometimes of suffering. This is the obstacle. This is the difficulty on the spread right here. And the difficulty here is to, it's the uneasiness we feel by relinquishing control. You know, by, it's kind of saying like, I don't want to give the postal carrier my mail because I'd rather go deliver it myself. You know, I feel weird when I don't have control over everything. You know, for me personally, I don't like being a passenger in a car. If I'm traveling by car, I want to drive, you know. That's why I think I want to learn how to fly a plane and do all this sort of stuff. Sometimes I can't go tell the train conductor that, hey, I want to drive the train, you know. It doesn't work that way. So it's the difference between being the driver and being the passenger. And I get sort of anxious when I'm a passenger in a car. But I don't get anxious when I'm a passenger in an airplane for some reason. Or a train. I think it's because I can't see who's driving, you know. And if you can't see who's driving, there's just this implied element of out of sight, out of mind, or just trust. You know, I've got nothing to focus on, nothing to worry about. I can't see what they're doing. I can't see if they're on their phone or if they're paying attention. I can't see how scared they are. It's just, you know, trust. And that's kind of what the Hanged Man is like. My hands are tied. I cannot do anything. I cannot talk to them or give them any advice or instruction. I can't have any sort of confirmation that they are not just sitting there driving the bus, looking at their phone. I mean, I guess on a bus you can, but I've never driven a bus though either. But the idea here is that your obstacle here is the relinquishing of control. You're someone that likes to be in control. You like to be the magician on stage, or the orchestra conductor, or the ringmaster of the circus, directing everything. Nothing happens without your orchestrating it. Okay? But now, there's nothing left for you to do. You just kind of have to sit there in the audience and just be like, you know, I hope everything goes as planned. You know? And I don't believe that's an easy thing for you to do. The Hanged Man shows that this is the step. This is how we flow. Fire and water are flowing through that doorway. And it is going to be turbulent. The Five of Cups, there's going to be good days and bad days. Some days, you know, the airplane is going to shake a little bit, and you're going to say, oh shit, it's going down. No, it's just turbulence. It's normal, right? It's normal. So we look around and we see if everybody else is freaking out too, but no, everybody's just kind of reading their paper or whatever. But there will be days that kind of scare the heck out of you that, you know, maybe this isn't working, right? But there is that point where we relinquish the control, we surrender to it, to the current, and there's not a whole lot we can do. Yeah, there's not a whole lot we can do. If anything feels like it's going wrong, if we start to get scared or worried, right? And I think that this is a path where there's going to be some difficult days where you get a little bit scared of the outcome, but it's going to be okay. You've got full faith, hope, and trust in the universe. And I think you're getting a big confirmation here from all these major arcana cards that says, this is going to be okay. You're going to have to deal with the roller coaster of emotions, but this is going to be outstanding. Okay? And I think in some way, you have been waiting for this reading. You've been waiting for something to come along, for Spirit to come into your life and say, okay, you can put the pen down, you can put the keyboard down, and you can surrender to it. You've done your part, the universe will do the rest. Yeah. Well, let's look at our mystery card, okay? Again, I'm thinking Wheel of Fortune here. But what are the chances it'll be another major arcana energy? This is really uncanny. So I'm thinking maybe Empress, Wheel of Fortune, Ten of Pentacles. If you have a prediction, put it down in the comments. A Five of Pentacles. Well, I think this is good because it shows that we're going with the flow. We're moving with the current of water. It's a match, 5 and 5, right? So this to me tells me that, okay, you're going to jump in and you're going to do it and you're surrendering to the flow and it's going to take you, and sometimes you're going to be like, hey, why didn't we stop there? You know, I saw a donut shop back there. How come we didn't stop? You know, you may not get an answer from Spirit. It's just, you got to trust that Spirit's taking you in the direction you need to go. Okay. And this is sort of worry and disappointment that we have to deal with this negative state of not being in control. Little bump in the road, we're going to get scared. That's okay. It comes with the territory, right? But you just gotta. I'm picturing one of those buses, and I don't know what country these buses are in, but they're traveling up a mountain, a very steep mountain, right? And they're just sort of going around this very narrow path. And I see these videos on YouTube all the time. And as they're driving around, they're loaded up with people and luggage and everything, and they're spiraling up a mountain. And the road is so narrow that the tire will kind of slip off the road a little bit, and the rocks will fall. And I watch those videos, and I start getting effing nervous, right? And imagine the people on that little bus. You know, I don't know if it's a Volkswagen bus or what, but it's just like, you've seen those videos, right? And it makes me so nervous watching it. I couldn't imagine being on that bus, crammed in there with all those people. And you can look out the window and see just a sheer cliff. And the rocks are falling. The wheels are kind of spinning. It sort of wobbles a little bit, and it tips over on 2 wheels, but the bus driver brings it back, and it's just like, no, thank you. Yeah. That's sort of what this feels like. Yeah. But there's trust here. Okay. There is a surrender, and what will be, will be. Spirit is saying, don't worry. Spirit, the more of these cards are spiritual major arcana than they are personal, individual, minor arcana tarot cards, right? We got these two, and we've got this. Looking at the future while feeling some anxiety and some fear. But the Spirit's saying, look, there's nothing left for you to do except, endure some of these, turbulent feelings and the roller coaster here. But Spirit's doing everything else. The major arcana, when there's this many major arcana, it means there are forces at work here that are outside of your control. Okay? All you can do is trust and resist all that fear and anxiety. Feel it, but just let it go. Come back to trust every time. There's nothing, it's out of your control. Spirit's at the wheel now. Okay? We're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there is a link up top. There is one down below. New readings for Taurus are on Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. And leave a comment for me. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.